President Obama's Christianity, the National Prayer Breakfast, Part 12. We've been addressing the President's National Prayer Breakfast speech, and we continue with the next section wherein the President states, and I quote, "So instead, it is our hope that the people of goodwill can pursue their values in common ground and the common good as best they know how, with respect for each other." And I have to say that sometimes we talk about respect, but we don't act with respect toward each other during the course of these debates, unquote. Here the President reveals his belief in the universal values of men. He believes that people are of goodwill, can pursue these values and common grounds and the common good for all mankind. Mr. President, historic Orthodox Christianity, and especially evangelical Christianity of the Protestant faith, shares no common values, common ground, or common good with other world religions. Mr. President, if the various religions of the world are at war with their own people, within their own religion, why don't you just point out these common values, ground and good, and put an end to their unending destruction of each other? There's a problem. The President is making a universal assumption about the goodwill of men, which means he does not understand the depravity of man. This really betrays the intent of his speech and tells us something a little more about his theology. The President then says, and this is where it really gets uncertain as to how he's going to do these things, when he states, as best they know how. Clearly that is not being achieved here at home or abroad, nor has it been for over 6,000 years of human history. But then the President adds, we need to have, quote, respect for each other, unquote. Mr. President, your side of the aisle seems to have forgotten this principle. With respect for each other. This is the height of hypocrisy. Now the President steps into it fully, and I quote, and I have to say that sometimes we talk about respect, but we don't act with respect toward each other during the course of these debates, unquote. I love this type of hypocrisy because it is couched with such Christian kindness as a weapon against his opposition. In particular, the Orthodox Catholics and Protestant evangelical. The President goes on to state, but each and every day, for many in this room, the biblical injunctions are not just words, they are also deeds. Every single day, in different ways, so many of you are living out your faith in service to others. Note, if you will hear, that the President now calls these values biblical injunctions, which are the basis for living out your faith in service to others. Which is it, Mr. President? Are these values which dictate our politics and policies biblical injunctions or not? You simply cannot say we cannot enforce biblical policies and then talk about these biblical injunctions that ought to govern our politics and policies. You just can't have it both ways, Mr. President. Further, you are telling us that we must live out this faith in having the right kind of politics and the right kind of policies that help those who cannot speak for themselves. However, I sometimes think that the President means those who will not help themselves. Therefore, your hard-earned wages must be taken from you through an unjust taxing scheme and given to those who refuse to work. Now, that sounds more like a democratic policy, does it not? The President's theology, it will reveal what he means more clearly. And it will become clear what the President is really stating and what he believes that we ought to live in this nation according to those political philosophies that are based upon his theological ideals. This is a theocracy that is being propagated by our president. Make no mistake about it. This is worldview dominionism.